Hello everyone, so it's going to be my turn I guess to do one of these track guides. I'll give it a go doing it in one take. So first of all I'm just going to run the Hotlap, showing the inputs, and then I'm going to talk a bit afterwards about my thoughts. So first of all, here's the lap. Alright, so that was 141.49. This is just doing test drive from the official sessions, track temp 19. As you can see, these were my earlier laps. I'm a bit all over the place. My optimal was a 41.2, my optimal, and this is 41.4. These are my teammates, Andreas and Christoph. Shout out to them. I've been using their telemetry as well to get a bit of help, but yeah, similar fuel levels, and you can see their lap times as well, so we're all on a similar pace. But obviously this is a really tough track, especially coming from a track last week like Spa, where everyone knows Spa more or less pretty well. This is a really tricky track in comparison. So now I'm just going to just go through each turn and talk about each turn, so if you want to listen to me ramble on about what I think, then let's do it. So I'm going to run through most of it. Hold on. I want to do this all in one take without any editing, so bear with me whilst I just turn the volume down a bit. That's fine. And let's run it in... I'm going to run it in chase cam, just so we can talk about car positioning and all the rest of it. So turn 1 reference will be somewhere in between the 1 and the 2 board, somewhere before the 1 board. Just so you know, everyone's going to need to brake at a different point in order to make the same line for the turn. I always think the most important thing is the line that we end up taking, not where we brake. Where you brake is going to depend on your own ability and your own technique and the condition of the car and everything else. So we're using this as our reference, a little bit of braking, and then we're trailing it in. Now this turn 1 is a bit of a double apex, so this is the first apex, let the car wash out a little bit, then on the power, and this is the second apex. So we can see that as a kind of arc where we go first apex, wash out, second apex, on the power, so that you can power out to the outside using as much of this curve as you need to. Then turn 2, we're going to be using obviously the marker boards on the left, so I'm using this number 2 board as my reference point, and hard on the brakes. Again, just brake as early as you need to in order to make the hairpin. This hairpin's a bit of a tricky one. I find the car tends to slide out quite easily here. But so you need to take the speed down and try and do your best trail braking impression to get the car somewhere to the apex, kind of as close to the curb as you need to. And then we're going to be powering out as aggressively as we can without losing traction. So let's just run all that back. Should be pretty simple hairpin, as long as you take enough speed off. Now turn 3, I'm using the Palmer Sport because, yeah, if you know, you know. But yeah, if you're using this Palmer board on the left as the reference point, because it's a bit of a blind corner, so we need to have a reference point over here so that we know we're going to be taking off enough speed. So using this as the reference, and I'm braking like, yeah, just about level with that board, kind of in a straight line, and then we need to open up this entry a bit because this is quite a long corner. You don't want to enter this corner early, you want to open up the entry a little bit. So yeah, braking about there, open this up a bit, and then yeah, about halfway along this curb we're going to be apexing, about halfway along this red and white curb, and that's where we're going to be getting on the power. Then powering out, we can, any of these kind of exit curbs that have this kind of serrated surface, we can use all of this without getting off track. So we're going to be out in trail braking again. This is going to kind of require you to do some nice gentle trail braking, so you know, it's all up to you kind of if you're able to do that kind of nice gentle technique, getting it in and then pushing out and just getting back on the track before the curb ends. Then we've got another hairpin, very similar to turn 2, using the 2 board again as our reference point, hard braking in a straight line. Can let it come towards the apex a bit and then trail it in for the hairpin. Everyone's going to maybe do their hairpins in a slightly different way, but it should be simple enough. Then again, similar to the turn with the Palmer board, we're going to be using the Hamilton board as our turning point here, because this kind of comes up on you quite quick, so it's nice to have a reference point to start turning in and to start braking. So using that, lift off the throttle. Let's do it in super slow-mo. Going to be lifting off the throttle, then a tiny bit of braking, just a tiny trail brake, and then here, this bollard here, these aren't real, so you can drive straight through them, basically. As you see there, we can just drive straight through those, so you can cut this corner as much as you can. Sorry, just finding my way around these cameras. Yeah, we're going to cut this as much as possible. We can drive through this thing no problem. And then we're powering out, and again, if you find yourself out here, it's okay, you can use as much of this as you need to. So yeah, I cut that more than I ever did before. And then this is quite critical, bringing the car back to the left before the next turn. You can see that I'm starting to brake like even before I'm anywhere near the left hand side. You need to brake pretty early for this next turn because it's very easy to kind of miss this braking point, so braking kind of in reference to this board but quite a lot before it. And you're going to notice that I'm going to miss the apex a bit here. So here I could have started braking even earlier because ideally the car now should be over on top of this curb, so you can really cut across this curb. So here I kind of miss the apex a bit and go a bit wide, so just bear that in mind. Yeah, bringing the car to the left, braking early, trail braking in, try and get more over that. And then we're going to be exiting in third, just staying in third gear, so if you can just do a bit of trail braking onto this curb, get the car nice and slowed down, and then if we leave it in third gear, then we can go pretty hard on the power straight away. So let the car settle and then full power out of the turn. This next one is, again, we have to be very delicate with this corner, so you can go up to fourth gear here potentially, or you can just leave it in third. And we're going to kind of again lift off the power, tiny bit of trail braking, and again, like turn 3, the left-hander with the Palmer board, again we have to be quite patient. Letting the car come onto this curb, we have to be quite patient because it's all about the exit here, and it's quite easy to understeer here. So patience and then power out. So let's just run that back one more time. You know what? I should click this and just choose, shouldn't I? So yeah, patience, power out, use all of that curb again. You can use all of the stuff on the outside as long as you come back on the track before the curb ends. Then take a moment to admire the British weather that we have here this week before this turn, which is probably the most difficult on the whole track. So I'm gonna kind of reverse engineer this turn. So what I mean by that is ultimately we need this turn to be nice and comfortable for us. In order for this turn to be comfortable for us, we want the car to be about here. Let's just zoom the FOV out a bit if I can for a bit of context on that. That's not the best. But yeah, so we need... Let's not do that. Yeah, we need the car to be about here if we go to the far chase. Yeah, we need the car to be nice and far to the left for that corner. So whatever you do in this turn, which is turn 9, wherever you brake, you just need to make sure that you're going to be able to get the car over here to the left and nice and slow down as much as you need to. You can drive through these bollards if you need to. Just we need to get the car here. So for me, I'm personally using the one board as a reference and braking a bit before it. There's also some bumps I feel in the force feedback that let me know kind of where I am. And I'm going to be turning in quite early, being gentle on the brake, about 50%, and then lowering it down, trail braking. Again, it's all going to depend on your own technique and what you're able to do with the car here, because it's really easy to lose the car. By the way, I'm using 61% brake bias, if that matters to you. You can play around with that. So yeah, using this board, braking, and being nice and gentle with the steering, not steering much at all, trail braking, and just making sure we get the car over to the left here. Then I'm going to be coming down to third gear, and you can come down to second if you need to. I've done this in second gear many times. Let's get rid of that. But yeah. So you're going to be like coming to the left, trail braking, and then again we want to be able to brake in a straight line again. We raise the brake pressure there before again trail braking down for the right hander. So it's go in, trail brake, and then brake hard, trail brake, and you can exit in second gear or third gear depending on how fast you're travelling really. Next one, I guess we can use this as a reference. I've just been looking at the corner and yeah, just trying to work out where to start turning in. We're going to turn in, lift off pretty much completely. You can lift off completely and let the car dig into this kind of dip here. So yeah, just lift off, let the car dip down before pushing out. Again, you're just going to need to find your own kind of feeling through here. It's quite easy to understeer if you get on the power too early, because the track kind of starts rising up again. So just work it out, I guess, where you want to find your turn-in point. I think you can use this as a reference, but I've just been winging it myself. And then the last turn, we want to stick pretty close to the inside all the way. And then we want to brake at the end. So with this one, I'm just kind of throwing the car in, and then I'm going to start lifting off the throttle and just using the force feedback to work out how much grip I've got, how much throttle I can put. Trying to stay obviously a little bit outside, because at some point you do need to start braking and moving the car to the right hand side. Again, if we're going to like reverse engineer this corner, we need to end up about here. We need to end up on the right hand side to make the left hander nice and, good for us to get a good exit. So in order to do that, it's up to you. You can, if you want, you can at this point bring the car more to the left. You could be more to the left, like 1 or 2 car widths to the left of where I am, and then start slowing the car down and bringing it back to the right hand side, just to give yourself a straighter line to bring the car back to the right hand side, because that's the crucial part here, is coming to the right hand side. But in my case, I am just lifting off, finding the grip, and then starting to brake, and yeah, just increasing the brake pressure a bit. It's when I can brake in a straight line. And then the final corner is either second gear or third gear, depending on what feeling you have. in my case, I had to slow the car down quite a lot on this lap, so I ended up dropping to second gear. And again, just using as much of this exit curb as you need to. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. I hope that was somewhat informative and interesting. Let me know if it helps. And let me know if you've got any questions about the lap. I'm just going to have a look back through to see if there's anything that I missed out that I wanted to mention. But yeah, I think this was sums up my thoughts pretty much. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the future maybe.